Living full time in a 30-year-old van is great until it starts raining inside. Yeah. So the cab heater on my old Merc have turned into a pair of very unhelpful waterfalls, turning my van into a mobile aquarium and rotting it out. It's a very common issue on these vans and definitely a downfall of Mercedes. So whilst we parked up in the mountains, I thought what better place for a bit of roadside metalwork. Finally, I get to use my exterior socket, which I was definitely way too excited for. First time using my actual outside socket now. Got power outside. This is the real van life. It's not always sunsets and campfires. Sometimes it's rust, leaks, and figuring it out as you go. So that was a crazy night last night. Today's meant to be quite windy as well, but not as wet as yesterday. I mean, we've got some blue sky up there. But yeah, welcome back to another video. We're still on the side of this loch, which we were at last week's video. If you didn't catch last week's video, video's in the card up in the corner up there. If you're new, hello, and I'm Max, this is Rose, and we're travelling in a convoy with James. And if you haven't seen the previous episodes of this little travel series, I'll stick them in a playlist up here. I've recently done a load of work on Rose, changed the rear axle, changed the front springs, and she's driving better than ever. Super smooth, really happy. Yeah, this is a really beautiful area, and I was just wondering if there's anything down this path, if we can get to the loch, because the last spot we were at, we were on the loch front. This one's a bit further away, but I'm hoping I can get down to the loch front. And I might go for a swim at some point, because I'm really tempted to. Look where we're going now. Aha, not quite a beach. Couldn't go for a swim here. You can see the big, whoa, slippy, slippy, slippy. Careful, Max. Oh, look at that view. Oh, that was worth coming down here, look at that. This morning and last night and yesterday, you couldn't see any of these mountains. Just completely covered with just like haze and rain and cloud. And now look at it. Wow. And if you didn't catch the last few videos, you'll have seen that about 2 weeks ago I'd lost the drone in a waterfall pool, and then yesterday I did the same thing in this loch. So yeah. Yeah, not doing so well on the drone luck there, Max. Anyway, for the time being, the new board is ordered and we're just having to wait until that arrives. So for now, there is no drone footage. Apart from James's drone, which also has a slight conundrum later on in this video. But firstly, James, Yoshi and I headed on a wee wander to try and get some photos. As much as it may seem a dull day with 50-mile-an-hour winds, it was actually a brilliant day for taking photos, with the light changing constantly. Thanks Yosh for ruining my shot. So I've walked onto this big rock on the peninsula, and now you can see all the way down the loch. You can see Sleoch, and you can see some nice little pines. You've got the Scottish Caledonian pines there. Yeah. Oh, it's a bit of a rainbow up there as well.
Days if you're into your landscape, you just literally bring a chair, sit here.
Yeah, we're just sat here trying to like wait for the light to get right, because as you can see out here the wind's really hot, strong, which means the weather and the clouds move so quickly. Like you just get spots of sun everywhere, spots of blue sky. If you come to Scotland and come up the west coast and you want to go for some nice walks like this, really don't expect there to be paths, because get some waterproof shoes and just walk. You have the right to roam, so just go out there. Like, I hate it when people go, oh, there's no walks around here, there's no paths. No, there's not any paths. Be creative. Get out there, you know? Like, I walking along forestry tracks and stuff like that, like, they're lovely, but I get bored of it. I think the dog gets bored of it too. And honestly, walking where no one else has, or you don't know if anyone else has walked before, is so much nicer and rewarding and feels like proper adventure than just going around a little walk that everyone else has done before and oh wow. But like, look at all these different angles you can get. Like a little boggy beach here. Just that mountain, man. It's a beautiful mountain. Because you'll notice that the mountains kind of accumulate the clouds, because as the wind come in, like this bit of blue sky up here, as the wind pushes it towards the mountain, it will close up and become just cloud again. So the mountains really like differentiate and determine the weather and the sky and everything. And I hope you can hear me because I know it's windy. And exploring, like I've just walked through this massive bit of bog, which it doesn't look like many people walk through. You get shots like this, which quick I'm going to get because the sun's out. Such a good boy. Look at this. Oh, there's a bit of a rainbow actually. Look, can you just about see it? Just there. I did get some nice shots of Mount Sleoch as well as the Yoshi. Once back at the van, Rose needed a level out as we pulled in rather quickly the night before and needed to level her out. Oh, that's loads better. Pulling her forward sorted that out. Massive difference. I don't know why I didn't do that yet. I then got started with some of the little repairs needing done on the van, starting with the mud flaps. Now previously I'd used car mats, which have been great for the front mud flaps, however the rear ones I've replaced about every few months, so I've now upgraded to a pair of proper mud flaps. Hopefully these will last longer. These mud flaps have been kicking around in the back of the van for a couple of weeks now, and somehow in a van you still manage to lose things. Somehow I'd managed to lose one of the metal brackets, so I had to look around, find a scrap bit of metal and chop that up to make a new bracket, and then about a week later I found the bracket, as you do. This is the first time using my actual outside socket. Now, got power outside. I know there's noise, but if you live in your house, you get noise. Well, the bracket worked out great, but I haven't got any footage to finish it off, so you'll just have to trust me on that one. Next up was Yoshi's seatbelt. So this is Yoshi's lead that we strap him in for driving. It's just his old metal chain lead with a carabiner so he can clip it onto his harness. I just stuck it in with one of these tech screws, and I was like, we'll see how long that lasts. Well, that didn't last very long at all. So, what I've now done is drilled like an 18mm hole in the bottom of here, got my finger up precariously with a nut, and now I can do this up. Well, I've had a very productive day today really. I still need to get my sharpening stones out. I did the little angle grinder sharpen with my axe, and I've split some of the wood, chucked that behind the burn so it can dry. So we've got loads of stuff done. Yoshi's lead thing's done now. I also soaked some chickpeas because tomorrow we're going to have some falafels. Tonight we're going to have mac and cheese, but with potatoes and carrots as the base for the mac and cheese, with just a bit of cheese in, so it's a little bit like healthier and I think cheaper, to be fair. If we film anything tonight, maybe I'll stick in dinner just here of what we eat, mac and cheese, and yeah, I will catch you guys tomorrow. The next day started with the sound of the birds, the water dripping off the roof, and just peace. And luckily the rain cleared up soon. Right, good morning everyone. Today I've got a pen, I've got some cardboard, and I'm going to alleviate a very annoying problem that Rose has. Let me show you. Now if you look here, there's these holes. Now this is for your cab heater. So the motor's actually broken behind the cab, very common issue, partly because of this as well. So what happens is water sits in this little channel, in this little like cubby that they've made, and then, well, inevitably, being Mercedes, rusts it out, starts dripping onto the footwell, and then rusts the back of the cab out, which is currently happening. And second of all, because of the damp and water in here, it lets water through and into the blower motor, which then in turns over time seizes it up and then it stops working again. So overall a pretty shit design. Oh, and lastly, the blower motor being broken isn't the biggest problem in the world because the driving force usually over about 20 mile an hour, but mostly over about 30 mile an hour, you get plenty of heat in the cab, so it's not really an issue. So I don't want to block them too much, but what I do want to make is a little cover that goes over them, just so when the water comes, it's only really when you're parked up is the issue. So when you're parked up, the water runs down, runs over, and then what ideally maybe goes onto the bonnet, but I need to make sure that when you lift the bonnet it doesn't get in the way of it, because there's a channel down here along the bulkhead that ends in the wing and then just ends, and all the water that comes off the windscreen goes into that channel and then it dumps it inside the wing, which then we've got leaves in there, which mine don't because I clean them out regularly. But if you do have leaves and stuff in there and then dirt and stuff and then water and maybe even salty water from the roads and stuff, it just rots out the inner wings like no tomorrow in the bottom of the bulkhead. And as CJ from Project Amber would say, cos Mercedes. Oh, do I regret buying this van now? Look at my face. So another terrible design. Ideally, needs a little pipe with a tube on it, so all the water goes through the tube and then out the wheel arch and onto the wheel or something like that, like modern vehicles have, but yeah, they're a bit behind. But what it needs is, I've seen people put louver vents on, I've seen people 3D print things, I've seen people just weld them up, but I do want them because they're useful. So I'm going to make some kind of thing, not out of cardboard, this is a template, out of some steel, because I've got some leftover steel, some like 1mm sheet steel, and I'm going to make a little deflector so it drips off, and yeah. So let's get on to making that basically. I'm using the wrong cardboard for this. Really, you need uncorrugated cardboard because you can get more accurate folds, but working with what I've got here. Working with what I've got here, alright? Something like that, basically. Do you know what? I don't think it needs a tab at the top. I think I'll just put sealant on it. I think it'll be fine. There we are. You see the principle now? I'll get a better angle and show you in a second. Now, you might think it looks pretty ugly, and I'm not going to say it looks the best, but once it's painted body colour, I think they blend in pretty well. I did see a picture on the Facebook groups of one, so yeah. But basically that's it, just two little like feet curved round. This is like a better example because I made a nice square edge. So like fold that round so you've got your little surface area, and then you've got a little triangle at the edge, which is the wedge shape. Because obviously I don't want to restrict it too much. All I want is just the rainfall to fall off. But I still want the wind to get under to give me heat in the cab. And carry a large bit of plate. Kindly left over from Aidan and Biff's welding work, but I carry this because I do bits of welding work and bits of, well, just general maintenance and caravan stuff all up here. So if you're up in the Scottish Highlands and you need a hand, I'm your man. I think this is 1.5 or 1.2mm plate, so this is fine. And basically get that cardboard template, get my Sharpie, and draw my shape onto here. Hello. Get in the bloody, leave it. Bum in shot. Right, let's get this cut out then. So I've just scored where I need to bend because I don't have, you know, a proper sheet metal bender. And I'm going to grab my maul grips and basically bend this round. So this is how I did my whole van well, chassis restoration. If you haven't seen all of the welding work I did, because Rose was off the road for 6 years. She was poorly. She'd had no MOT and needed pretty much a new chassis, but I give her a new lease of life, and yeah, pretty much use a pair of pipe grips and a pair of maul grips and a block of wood and a mallet to do all of the metal work. So, you know, you don't need all of the tools. I'll put my bloody hair up there. It is a very timely process, but it is how I did the whole rebuild, and I will be doing a quick recap video coming soon, but don't know when because I've got a lot of footage to go through, but it will be coming. But yeah, this is how long it takes. There we are. Look at that. Right. There we are. Double fold there. Need to clean up all the edges, but basically, there we go. Look at that. So, this is sat there. Then when I lift this up, so needs to be a little bit smaller. 10mm off the end of there. And to be fair, when you look at it like that, I want this edge to be square, and you can see it goes that way because of the way I folded it. Or is it the fact that it wants to be square with this edge. Yeah, I think it wants to be square with this edge. So maybe I'll cut it like that. When that's at an angle, you can see that. Right, slightly trimmed back one. Sit up there. And then, but I think this can go a little bit further this way. Here they are, all painted. Not the best finish, but as I say. So they got left by the burner overnight. Well, actually a few more days than that, but we'll come back to this. The next morning was yet another peaceful morning in the woods by the loch. I went for a little barefoot wander down to the loch side to go and do some meditation. Now, I think it's really important nowadays, with everyone getting up and getting straight on their phones and social media, to take the first hour of your day with no technology. Just go sit outside, have a cup of tea, have a smoke, have a walk, and just take it in without the outside technology chaos world interfering in your day in the first hour. It makes a world of difference. So anyway, here I am reflecting upon the trip and about to talk to you about our future plans. Oh, good morning everyone. So, just done some meditation, which is absolutely bliss. You might think, am I cold out here, especially in my bare feet? No, I think it's about 10 degrees. I did fix my temperature sensor yesterday. But man, this view. I'm coming back here again. This is just such a beautiful view. And it's so nice to be like a little bit away from the car park. Just alone. The loch is just almost dead still. There's just a slight ripple in it. This place is just magical. Right, I was going to tell you a little bit about the plan for the rest of this year and the plan for the day. The plan for the day is I was going to go for a swim, but we've taken the kayak out yet later. Well, that doesn't quite go to plan. You'll see why later on. So, I think I'll just go for a swim once we've been in the kayak. Only because I do get quite cold and then I need to warm up. And currently, like, Chelsea's asleep and stuff and the burner's not on, and I'd need the burner to be on. But Rob's here. Rob got here yesterday afternoon, evening. Brought some peanut butter. Thank you very much, Rob. We're running low on peanut butter. He's almost got his back door in. But yeah, the plan is to head only about 10 minutes more north along this loch and then launch the kayaking. Yeah, that's probably going to be it for this video, but we will be heading towards the coast after this. As for this year, so I'm not entirely sure, because my mum did make a good point about the order we were doing things in. But the rough plan is going to work, possibly got some work on the Isle of Skye anyway, on the way down from here, at the end of March or something. And then I'm going to work till about May up here. Then I could go down to England in June and July. Only the plans kind of have changed a little bit, as I said, because I'm doing a bit of yo-yoing in that thing. So basically I'm coming down to England in Augusty time until we head off to Europe in wintery time before Christmas. And moving onwards. Because basically the plan is to save up enough money to go to Spain and Portugal this year, like the end of this year, for like Christmas, New Year's and possibly birthdays. A 3-month but maybe 6-month long trip. We'll get the ferry to Spain, I think, and then once we've got the ferry to Spain, travel around Spain and Portugal for 3 months, and then maybe head to Morocco for 3. Maybe. So yeah, that's the idea. But in between that, I would then have to come back up here to maybe do a little bit more later on in the year work and get the van MOT'd. That mountain, man, with its points. James was saying yesterday, and I should have looked into it because it said at that other spot, the mountain is 980 metres tall, but it used to be taller. Apparently it used to be like 4,000 feet or something, which is taller than Ben Nevis. But it's like made of sandstone or something, and like the rivers eroded it away or something and made it smaller. Something like that. Which is pretty mad. Shrinking a mountain. Just incredible, man. What a place to be. The only thing I don't like about here is the lack of sun. When it's here, oh, it's beautiful. It's just not here for long enough. We only had 2.5, 3 days the other week, and then we've had bits and bobs of blue sky beneath the cloud, and then multiple days of dark, heavy, windy, rainy days. But it's not particularly cold, as I say. It's 10 degrees, I think. Maybe a little bit chillier. My feet are going numb though, so I'm going to have to go in a minute, warm up, get the burner on. But yeah, that's our exciting little plan for the rest of this year. Get to Europe! Take Rose and the van to Europe. Chelsea and Yoshi have never been abroad. Well, I think Chelsea had when she was a child, but other than that, no. Right, yeah, I'm getting chilly, even though I said it's not that cold. But yeah, I'll catch you guys when we're starting the van and heading off, ready to put the kayak in.
So this was going to be the next video, but I thought I'd save you the wait and just show you it now. This was how I held up the vent covers in the end, using some rocks and some wood off the dashboard, and they work amazingly when the van's just sat there and it's flooding and tipping it down. However, now when you're driving into a headwind of rain, it does still work its way in, so there's still some work to be done, but for now, job's a good one.
Right, we're going to take the van up onto the hill and take some pictures, because the mountain is really pretty today, because we've kind of got bits of blue sky.
Today I was really testing Rose and the suspension and the engine and pretty much everything. She didn't get it up as far as I'd hoped, so I gave it another go.
I got a little bit further though, I'm behind the tree now.
Well, that was sketchy. Anyway, made it up onto the hill. James got some nice pictures, and I got some drone shots before...
How poor you are at being a drone manager.
So, yeah, the drone just literally fell out of the sky. James's one, obviously not mine. It was like flying it back towards the car park, and then I was like, I'll check, see where it is, because I couldn't see the car park, and it was just over that tree, about where I expected it to be. And then as I was looking at it, it just fell sideways and then started dropping out of the sky. So, no idea what happened with that. So James got to look back through the logs and see if there's any errors or something, but it was off. The drone was just off. So anyway, now we're going to go along there and hopefully put the kayak in.
I think James's camera doesn't like you, or drone doesn't like you, because he knows that he's going to get dipped in water.
Well, it did have a choice to land in puddles and on rocks and on the road, but it landed in the squishy heather, so it was okay, hopefully. Sorry, Chelsea's cut out. Sorry, darling.
It's okay, I don't mind.
Everyone ready? Ready.
Oh.
did say it was closed, but I wasn't sure what closed meant, whether that meant toilets closed for the season or actually
Oh
closed.
no, look, they're chopping down all the wood.
So, very poorly filmed on my behalf, sorry, didn't get any footage of that, but basically the gate was shut because the forestry were doing a load of woodland work and basically had turned the Lochside car park into a logging trail. So you'll have to wait till next week when we head further up. I go for an actual swim finally in the sea, and we also see the Northern Lights, although not very well. Anyway, catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.